Hey, hope everybody's doing well out there. It's your buddy Derek Pascarella, otherwise known as A-Team, and today we are going to be taking a look at, that's right, you guessed it, the Dreameye. And I know this isn't, at this point, a super obscure piece of Dreamcast hardware, not even close, but it is a really, really cool one. And it is so perfectly in the vein of that Sega legacy, the classic Sega legacy that so many of us love, experimenting with new devices, new ways to play. And I first bought this, man, I can't believe it, at this point, over 20 years ago, when I was, I think, a sophomore in high school. And it was a camera I actually took to school, took pictures of friends, took pictures of my family at home, even some old ex-girlfriends, and I actually still have the photos. We're not going to dive into all of those today, though, because some of them are pretty embarrassing. But I wanted to show you what type of fun you could still have with this device in 2024. Now, this was first released by Sega in September of 2000, the goal being, hey, it could be a standalone camera you could, use to take photos. It's something you could connect to your Dreamcast to make video calls online, right? Dialing up with the modem. Also, use it to do some basic photo editing and such. And, actually send emails directly through the accompanying Visual Park software containing your images, your photos, and even videos that you record, little video messages. What we're going to be able to look at today is going to be a very limited version of that. I'm just going to be unboxing this, taking some photos around the house, put a couple AA batteries in the camera, connecting it to the Dreamcast, showing how we can, do some basic photo editing, and then showing how we can actually get those images as JPEGs we can have access to directly on our computer. So there is one other cool feature or use for the Dreameye these days, but it's not one I have the configuration or setup to show, and that is actually leveraging the Dreamshell menu system for either IDE hard drive modded Dreamcasts, or if you're using like the serial adapter, the serial SD card adapter. There was actually an update introduced where you can scan a QR code with the camera to launch a specific game from your library. I mean, is there a whole lot of utility in that? Not at all, but that's really not why all of us are here, is it? Absolutely not. Anyway, let's take a look inside the box. All right. So, we have first our Visual Park user manual, full of so many wonderfully useful things, telling us how to set up our camera, how to video call our aunt and wish her happy birthday. Got a, looks like a network registration card of some kind, and then of course our camera. This here is the battery pack, and we'll throw a couple, I think it's actually AAAs, I think I said AA's before, but throw a couple AAA batteries in there, attach it to the side. Oh, and of course the sticker that goes on the back, I guess it gives you some information on camera usage. You've also got the peripheral here that goes into the VMU slots on a controller, and you connect the headset to it. Here's the actual Visual Park software, the disc, and then of course, as I mentioned, our headset. The foam piece is long since disintegrated. You've also got the cable to connect directly to the Dreamcast. It actually connects via the controller ports. And then here's a little stand that you would screw this into so you can actually prop up and place the controller, or excuse me, place the camera somewhere while you're doing voice calls. All right, let's get some batteries inserted here and look at taking some actual photos. All right, so our batteries are inserted, like we see here, 2 AAAs. Slide the latch, connect the battery pack to the side of the camera, use your thumb or a coin to screw it on. And like I said, this is a totally standalone digital camera, you know, of course, with all the quality there implied by the late 90s. To power this guy on, slide this up. Oh, excuse me. There we go. Comes on, and at this point, it's totally ready for use. We can take it out, start taking photos. Of course, you look right through the little viewfinder. Is that even the correct word? It has been so long since I've taken pictures this way. I think it's a viewfinder. And you can also adjust the lens here. So let's go take some photos, and I'll find out also why this thing keeps on beeping. But I think it could just be maybe a loose connection. I'll take a look. Yeah, let's try some photos. All right, so a couple of ridiculous photos have been taken off camera, of course. And yeah, the Dreameye is now connected via included cable directly to one of the controller ports on the console. It's powered up behind me. So let's take a look at launching the Visual Park software and seeing if these photos came out at all. Very hard to tell how they're going to look when your only real point of reference is, well, looking through this little viewfinder. All right, let's see. All right, our Dreamcast is booted up. Let's launch the Visual Park software here from Open Menu. And I've got the camera connected, as I said, and hopefully we will see some pictures. Yes, yes. Controller port, okay. All right, so we've got our menu here. Top one here is video phone. That's how you would make those video calls I talked about. You can also check incoming mail there. This is the photo editor and such that we are going to be dealing with. And you've got options, home page, things like that. Oops. It's not the photo editor. This is the photo editor. Yes. All right. And interestingly, I took a look at the contents of this disk thinking, you know, maybe I could do a fun little translation patch for it. A lot of it are these custom little Java applications, actually. I haven't really analyzed it too deeply, but it would definitely be some effort. All right, okay. Well, there's one of the photos I took, looking horrible, of some stuff on the shelf. Sonic VMU, a few other little things there. If I press the right trigger, hey, there's the pumpkins. Hit the L trigger to hide the on-screen menu. Pumpkins in front of my house. And then there's some stock photos that are just on here. A cat. A dog. Well, 2 dogs. And some other fun little stuff. So yeah, from here you have the ability to do things like go to the playground, right, which is where we can actually, you know, do little things like add stickers, text, things of that nature. But what I want to do, for purposes of actually getting the images off the VMU onto the computer, is save it. So we'll do that now, and I'm using a VM2, so I have a virtual VMU just for this game, or piece of software rather, and that's how I'll be accessing the files from the SD card. But of course, worth noting, there are other ways to get saved files off of VMU. You can get a very inexpensive serial SD card adapter with a Dream Shell disk if you're still using a GD-ROM drive, or a disk image if you're using an ODE like GDMU, Mode, USB GD-ROM, and that'll actually allow you to read and write save files between real VMU and an SD card. But of course, this is the method I'll be using today. So let me go ahead and copy this one to the VMU. I'm not going to be doing any type of photo editing here today. Just the basics. Just give me the pictures. All right, and that has been done. So with these two photos now saved as files on my VMU, we'll switch over to the computer and take a look at actually extracting the JPEGs. But real quick, just before we do that, I wanted to show you that if you go to the VMU file manager in the Dreamcast BIOS, you'll see the save files for the images, and you even get a little thumbnail there, which is pretty cool, and you can see, of course, exactly when the file was copied over from the camera. All right, let's switch over to the computer. Okay, back over on the computer now. We are going to open up the SD card inside of the File Explorer here, the micro SD from the VM2. I already know the game ID because I'm able to see that on the VM2 display. I'll open up the virtual VMU file inside of VMU Explorer, and we can see, well, there's the standard Visual Park save file, but of course, thumbnails and all, there's our two photos. So we're going to export these to this directory here, and this is something we're going to be using here. It's called Dreameye Image Extractor and Viewer, written by a friend of mine, RazorX. A link to download the utility will be in the video description, but inside the applications root directory there's a passport folder, and that is where we should export our save files. So let's get this one here first. We'll call this 1. Let's extract, or rather export the second one. We'll call this 2. All right, all of our files are extracted. I can close VMU Explorer and open up the image extractor and viewer. And we can actually see right here, if I click on one of them, well, it extracted the image, and there's the other. So now inside of my extracted folder are the two JPEGs. There they are in all of their 320 by 240 pixel glory. And I don't even know how many megapixels. It's probably a kilopixel. I'm just kidding. I have no idea about cameras or any of that stuff. But yeah, folks, there you have it. Playing around with the Dreameye in 2024, taking some photos, extracting the the images from the save files on the VMU to usable JPEGs. A novelty at best, but if you've already got one of these laying around, you might feel like, taking it off the shelf, dusting it off, and maybe having a little fun with it just for the hell of it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more.